Mantap Bas. Kau tak order. Ingat order. Oh, tengah kerja. Oh, baru masuk kan? Aku baru belum main lagi bodoh. Yang ni baru nak main siap. Senin bukan itu kau kata lama Jumaat. Oh, betul betul tahu hujung-hujung. 3 bulan Okay, okay, faham. Sunday teaser boleh boleh. Asal tu pisang apa? Ni mesti tak ada benda nak buat kan? Ya, weekend mana nak kerja je. Bangla tak kerja tu. Oh shit, nah retail. Babi. Retail jangan disebut, nanti orang dengar. Nak main game pun kena ni kena knowledge benda tu semua. Dia betul-betul tak nak ni orang trash benda jadah semua dekat lobby. Kau cuti bila katanya? Bukan weekend kau bukan kerja bagi office ke? Professional sangat. Alah, prisoners yang why. Kejap lah, lain lu. Kejap. Filter jap. Sabarlah. Mana ni? Twenty 4 hour Habis kau pakai operation. Kau off bila? Kau memang tak ada off 24 hour gitu. Oh, faham. So kita ni dah retail lah ni. Sialah. Oh, bukan macam you ujung O tu. Tu pantek tu. Bangan dia lagi boleh kau saya tembak. Benda je. Yo what? Bodoh, dia kata map ni bodoh tu. Banyak blocking tu.
Hard point.
Have your back.
Target area confirmed. Get to the hard point.
Oh, wow.
We've taken the lead. Enemy
Itu
personnel
lah.
at the
Aku
hard
FOV 120 tu.
Enemy
PS4 pun ada yang risau.
We've lost the lead. Hard point compromised. Secure the area.
Oh, wow.
Inside the perimeter.
Mana? Oh, shit lah.
Confirming next hard point. Stand by. Hard point compromised. Secure the area. I'm reloading. Enemy personnel at the hard point. Target area updated. Move to the hard point.
What the fuck?
The lead is ours.
Nice. Oh, wow.
Locating the next hard point. Get ready.
Ah, sial lah.
Cold-blooded
Kuat
online.
siap.
Hard point relocated. Secure the target area. Enemy spotted.
Bom, bodoh. Dia punya recall sakit. Sial lah. Tak
Friendly
balik.
care package in the AO. Our UAV is orbiting the area.
Pening map dia ni. Shotgun bodoh. Fuck up sial.
Hard point relocated. Stand by.
Anjir.
Location updated. Capture the hard point. Hard point
Bapak dia shotgun je.
area. Hostile
Shotgun
UAV
ke?
in the area.
activated.
Tak pun.
I'm low on ammo.
Stun incoming.
Sakit, sakit. Babi tu.
Enemy personnel at the hard point.
Bapa.
Confirming next hard point. Stand by.
Oh shit.
Throwing flash.
Target area updated. Move to the hard point. Changing max.
Ayo.
Got your back. Reloading. Enemy precision airstrike. Find cover. Friendly UAV online. Ghost online.
Sakit, 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 sakit.
Stun grenade. Get to cover. X-rays
Babi. Fucker. Tuh. Anjing.
Stand by. Enemy UAV
Wait, dapat.
overhead.
Ada, dia punya Rico ada sakit ya. Babi lah. Dia pakai ni kan.
Enemies inside the perimeter.
Saya boleh dengar
Switching back.
Our UAV is orbiting.
Dapat bodoh.
Rotating the next hard point. Get ready. Hard point relocated. Secure the target area.
Ish, tak dapat bodoh.
Reloading. The enemy's taken the lead.
Ah, fucker.
Enemy personnel at the hard point.
Kau ada stuttering ah?
Enemies inside the perimeter.
Coming.
We've taken the lead.
Anjir.
Friendly UAV online. Hard point relocating. Stand by. Hard point compromised. Secure the area.
Fuck. Ah. Shit.
Enemies inside the perimeter. Location updated. Capture the hard point. Friendly UAV on station.
Alamak. Ay.
Swapping magazines.
We've lost the lead. The enemy's gaining ground. Push them. Enemy UAV active. Our UAV is orbiting the area.
Mana eh?
Locating the next hard point. Get ready. Enemy personnel at the hard point. Hard point compromised.
Wow.
Target area updated. Move to the hard point. Copy that. UAV on. Friendly UAV online.
Dapat bodoh.
UAV in the area. Enemies inside the perimeter. UAV is bingo fuel. RTV at this time.
Mana je diorang?
Hard point compromised. Secure the area.
Eh, bapak.
Enemy personnel at the hard point. Hostile mortar strike confirming next hard point. Stand by. Standing by.
Hey.
Hard point relocated.
Annoying eh.
Secure the target.
FAE.
Target area marked. You're cleared hot. Copy. Target area marked. You're cleared hot.
Dia boleh tahan lah. Boleh tahan lah.
You're okay. No hits on target.
Requesting
Friendly
recon
UAV
at my
on
location.
station.
Oh, si bay.
Target sighted.
Location updated. Capture the hard point.
Beach.
Our UAV is orbiting the area. Enemies inside the perimeter.
Ah, sana pula. Itu siang.
Changing mags.
Enemy UAV active.
Saja nak try.
Flash out.
Enemy personnel at the hard point.
Ayo, what? Tai belakang.
Flash out! Step tracks incoming! Stun incoming!
Target area updated.
Sakit sih.
Move to the hard friendly UAV online.
Babi.
Hostile cruise missile incoming.
Aduh, tak kena.
Reloading.
Enemy UAV overhead.
Contact.
Mission failed. Return to base.
Not bad lah juga ni. Boleh tahan lah. Okey lah, okey lah. Okey, okey. Baru main pun pergi okey tu. Dia pun nak level up tu pun macam slow je. Sekejap aku nak tengok unlock tak. Oh dah. Battle Pass belum unlock lagi. Aku sebelum start kot. Yang Vanguard tak habis lagi. Kemo dia Aku tengok juga Kemo kata senang. Tak tahu betul ke tak. Senang nak dapat goal. Ramai kata senang lah, tak tahu. Complete all base Kemo challenge to unlock challenge. 4 je? Serius lah? Serius senang. 51. Oh, okay, ni yang susah. Faham. 8 goal Kemo challenge. Lawa agak. Lawa sial. Babi lawa tu. Alah. Tengok rifle apa tadi. TAQ. Gastov. Aku itu ada main beta bukan dapat ke siang. Tak ada ke? Unlock by level. Tai. Whisper of a Cave Scavenger. Tak syok lah. Buat sendiri. Palat. Tu nak kena pakai ni pula. Boleh lah ni. Sabar bodoh. Tadi dah fight back lah dekat border ni. FOV pula. Apa? Frame per second aku macam down lah. Macam tak dapat 120. Sebab apa? Tadi ngamungan 100 je. Itu pun 100. Lepas tu turun balik. 100 turun balik. PC kat jangan pun hide demand bodoh game ni. Hai. Kimak tu. Kau tahu yang itu main apa beta itu kan, dia tak bawa bodoh. Penat aku develop pun semua. Dia tak bawa. Dia reset balik. Tai bunga. Dia tak macam Vanguard lah itu. Vanguard kan boleh bawa masa time beta. Apa sebab apa? Tak juga. Tak tahu. Tapi aku kata memang tak bawa. Dia dah confirm lah. Ni, tu. Ni beritahu hari ni. Ni map dia ni. Map Singapore ni. Dia tukar nama ke tu. Itu kan Marina Bay Circuit kan. Dia tukar nama. Crown Raceway. Ya kot. Cuma dia tak bagi tahu lah betul dekat Singapura ke tak ni.
Hardpoint.
What's your plan?
Ya kot dah ada tempat tu.
Target area confirmed.
Rohan eh. What the fuck? Babi.
We have the lead.
Switching mags! Watching your six.
Bang, bagi can lah bang. Sial lah, tak sedap tu. Nak kena develop balik ni.
Loading.
Hardpoint compromised. Secure the area.
Ayo, what?
Enemies inside the perimeter.
Allah, salah baling.
Enemy personnel at the hardpoint.
Sial lah, lambat saya aim.
Location updated. Capture the hardpoint.
Using drill charge.
Aduh.
Hardpoint compromised. Secure the area.
Shit.
Reloading.
Nice.
Hardpoint relocated.
Nice. Dapat. Allah. Fucek.
Hardpoint relocated. Secure the target area.
Ayo, ada bunyi kereta. Aduh, tak sempat saya lompat.
Enemies inside the perimeter.
Papa. Pakai handphone.
UAV overhead.
Faham. Aduh, dia pakai tu. Sial.
Reloading. Ow.
Target area updated. Move to hardpoint.
Come on.
Hostile UAV in the area.
Eh, bapak aku dapat dulu bodoh. Babi. Kata orang select cancel dah kena nerf. Dia itu kena nerf, dia nerf lagi.
Changing mag.
Hardpoint
Sniper's
relocated.
down.
Stand by.
Loading.
Hardpoint relocated. Secure the
Bapak dia tak ada mood. Siap.
hostile more strike in the area. Friendly UAV.
Shit.
Hostile UAV in the area.
Apa?
The enemy is gaining ground. Push them back.
Sial lah.
Locating the next hard point. Get enemy quick fix online.
Tai tu.
Enemy UAV active. Hardpoint compromised. Secure the
What's
area.
your back?
Hostile cruise missile launched.
Bapak tak berefin.
Enemy personnel at the hardpoint. Hostiles launched an SAE.
Taking fire!
Hardpoint compromised. Secure the area. UAV in the area. Hostile counter UAV overhead. Enemy personnel at the hardpoint.
Shit lah.
Confirming next hardpoint. Stand by. Enemies inside the perimeter. Target area update. Move to the hardpoint. Enemy personnel at the hardpoint. Enemies inside the perimeter.
Setting mine. Cover deployed.
Aduh.
Hardpoint compromised. Secure the area. Enemies inside the perimeter. Hardpoint relocated. Secure the target area.
Anjir.
Friendly cluster mine deployed.
Kenapa aku kena?
Personnel at the hardpoint.
Tai tu.
Changing mags!
Babi tu je.
Confirming next hardpoint. Stand by.
Tak ada
Friendly care package on the way.
Enemy in the area!
Hostile VSOL in the area.
Anjir. Tu. Sial. Aduh, tu. Okay, okay.
Out! Throwing shock set!
Apek tol.
Locating the next hardpoint. Get ready. Friendly UAV online.
Babi. La el.
Hardpoint. Enemy UAV active. Hardpoint hostile UAV in the area.
Subject out! Throwing
Enemy UAV overhead. Enemies inside the perimeter.
Oh apa. Terus ke bawah.
covering! Changing back!
Hardpoint Located. Secure the target area. Enemy personnel at the hard point.
Anjir.
Hard point compromised. Secure the area. Enemies inside the perimeter. We're getting hard. Confirming next hard point.
Bapak sakit.
1 minute remaining. Target area. Move to the hard
Tay lompat eh.
Changing mag.
enemy UAV active.
Ui, sikit.
Requesting recon flyover.
Copy that. UAV is on station.
Enemy trophy destroyed. I'm with you. Holding.
Locating the next hard point. Get ready. UAV is being refueled. Location updated. Capture the hard point. Friendly UAV on station.
Bapak.
We've secured the lead.
Put your eyes. Trophy system out.
Sakit, sakit, sakit. Sakit.
Point compromised. Secure the area.
Gila. Dia bully ni.
No UAV in the area. The enemy has the lead.
Oh. Nice.
Hard point relocating. Stand by.
Oh, bela.
Mission failed. Return to base.
Mesti aku eh. Oh, tak.
Daily class. Okay.
Modern Warfare 2 is out now, and there's a lot to adjust when you first jump in, or perhaps Let's start out with your general settings, things that you can use on either PC or console. For your quick settings, this is all preference based, I think, but to customize your own button layout if you'd prefer, allowing you full freedom of choice on where to bind your buttons, which is normally only reserved for things like keyboard and mouse. So pretty cool to see. I'm probably going to stick with tactical just because I'm so used to it, but what feels like you can snap to an enemy without overshooting. Part of that comes down to aim assist and response curves, but we'll get there in a second, though they won't completely dictate your choice on sensitivity and what you should be using. The best thing I'd say if you're trying to find what is perfect for you is to go into private match, set up a game with bots, and just play around with different sensitivities, try and snap to enemies, see what feels fast, too slow, or just perfect. It's all trial and error at that point. For controller settings, again, inputs come down to preference. Do you want vibration on, off, trigger effects? This one you may not need. I'd turn them off, and honestly some people might not even experience this to begin with. For example, I play on a SCUF controller with digital tap triggers, so it's like a mouse click instead of resistance and such, so while even on, I wouldn't notice it. For those on PlayStation 4, 5, and Xbox, you'll notice these settings a bit more. But again, while it is preference based, I'd still suggest turning this off. It'll allow for more spammy functions like trigger finger fire rate on semi-autos and such. Objective, they can help but may throw you off. Again, preference based, try out some gameplay with that. Automatic sprints. I like to be in the action. I'm almost always going to opt for auto tac sprint so that it's always preference based still. Weapon mount activation. For me, it's always been ADS plus melee is my preferred. ADS is a way that you could have enabled a form of slide canceling in the beta, so people were choosing this earlier on, but truthfully, that was way too intrusive on the regular gameplay experience if you ask me. You just get close to a wall and then you snap onto it, which you might prioritize reload. Personally, for me, it's with the looting war. You won't bound on PC. Now, beyond that, let's jump over to the advanced tab, because this is where the fun begins, where it gets a little bit more important. Naturally, if you're on controller, you're going to want to have aim assist turned on. Aim assist type is more preference based. I stick with default. The other enemy, it'll have different. Default just always feels the most natural to me. Again, preference based though. But what is important is yes, you can play with standard, you can play with linear, but this is just the way that your aim will interact with your movement on your right thumbstick. Dynamic is a great choice for smooth and snappy aiming. It's a reverse S-curve, giving you a bit more control and fine precision on that, as opposed to something like standard. You kind of have to give it a push before it will recognize that input a little further. Linear, if you push it a little too hard, you could overshoot an enemy and things like that. So for me, it's always been dynamic, and from a competitive standpoint, most of the pros do use dynamic as well. As is your custom zoom sensitivity. You might want to play around with your dead zones. This is something that if you have any stick drift on your controllers, that is something that can help mitigate that, so that you're not setting your controller down, your hands off, but your viewpoint is changing, or you might be walking. Rule of thumb, the closer the value is to 0, it will not add any sort of artificial resistance. More, again, left and right trigger gameplay. Say to turn that on. As auto tac sprint, I don't really ever change it too much. The double tap to sprint is overridden by that. The one thing that I would definitely say to turn off though is grounded mantle. While it might be nice to in combat mantle something as you're just running towards it and you hit your A, X, or whatever you have bound, maybe spacebar on top of the edge, it'll mantle you over. So that's something to bear. Really nice. Just like in Warzone, it deploys automatically for you. There's vulnerable. I have died so many times. Combat behaviors, I'd say the weapon mount activation delay, put that to short, allow for the quick C4 detonation, turn that on so that you can end up blowing that up almost. As soon as you end up throwing it, and the rest in the advanced tab is all preference based. Now, before we jump on over to the personally on me, but gamer advantage display settings, with PC stuff actually potentially even improving your performance, adding frames to your experience overall. First and foremost, if you are on PC, you have the option to go full screen exclusive. Highly recommend that. Your screen refresh rate, whatever your monitor ends up having. The display resolution, again, whatever your monitor allows. Aspect ratio, entirely subjective. If you want to play for PC players, VSync is an option here. It can prevent some screen tearing, but it will lock to your monitor's refresh rate, so it might limit you in some capacity. It might not. That's again trial by error. Recommend here is the upscaling and sharpening settings available on offer. For this, it's highly recommend here at this. This is something that I think is defaulted to Fidelity FX Cast, which is also on the console versions here of this. But if you have an NVIDIA graphics card, NVIDIA DLSS works directly with that to prioritize and further optimize the experience overall. This optimization here is for 2K and above, so 1440p, 4K, and sometimes even upwards as of 8K can be beneficial as well. And unfortunately, the presets don't really give a whole ton in terms of description for what they do. Prior games, quality actually would refer to offers a high image quality and that it's beneficial for 2K. Same thing with balanced around that point. Performance and above is usually where you end up getting into that 4K range, and ultra performance, while again, very minimal in terms of usage overall, might be something that is a little bit more that. They're kind of better than that one. But if you're playing it for performance, your video memory scale, that's going to be dependent upon what you have available in your system. Your VRAM usage is entirely dependent on what your system has and the GPU you have on hand as well. And as for the details and textures, this is entirely subjective. Again, really coming down to your system, what it can handle. So things like your texture resolution, that is going to have a high effect on your VRAM usage, where if you drop that from say high to low, you save over 2 gigabytes in VRAM usage. So it's entirely dependent on what you want. If you want your game to look great, or if you want to compare RAM and or GPU. Naturally, the more strain you have on it, the less frames you'll end up getting. In regards to other things that NVIDIA settings can help boost is the NVIDIA Reflex Low Latency. This I'd recommend on or on plus boost here to allow for a little bit more optimization for your system latency. You may actually feel that in game, so definitely end up throwing that on, or again on plus boost depending on your card. And then we get down to things that you can brain. The depth of field, I think it's entirely, it is something with this from a competitive missing. While it is subjective, I definitely turn it off as well. It creates this sort of experience. Then we can move on over into the view category. This is something that for FOV, but for the first time in a Modern Warfare game, you now have the ability to change your FOV. This is entirely preference based. For me, the sweet spot was usually right around 106. I jumped up to 120 at some point, and then I was just like, well, I can't go back now. I'm so used to 120, but it is something that's entirely preference based, how much you see more of your peripherals rather than just that locked on console 80 FOV. More natural has. It's got that fisheye lens almost, because you see more of the world around you. The one thing that I absolutely will recommend though is affected. Independent is something that whenever affected, go down to say 60 FOV, back in. So highly make sure you have that on. Weapon field of view, I want to say it was wide. They can offer a little bit more in terms of view around you, simply because it makes your weapon look smaller, but it's a minimal difference. The third person FOV, that really comes down to if you're playing third person, default spectator camera, cam to the game. Home theater is that mix that I think works the best with my headphones, but it really depends on what you're playing the game with. If you're playing out of TV speakers, home theater might not be your best bet. That might be something like your sound bar. If you're playing with studio quality headphones, that could be an entirely different mix setting than what you have if you just have, say, your earbuds that you pop in. The EQ and the mix on those are entirely different fundamentally, so it's something that, again, is entirely preference based. Play around and experiment with those, see what kind of bass settings you can get out of it, see if you can differentiate footsteps, gunfire audio, if it's too sharp, too high, entirely preference based. Master volume, keep that wherever you want. Music volume, you can drop all the way down to 0. That is the least consequential thing here in regards to the audio settings. The OST is awesome, but it really doesn't help you in a gameplay. And sometimes, even in things like Warzone, that audio can actually come in at terrible times. I know that one of the big things when Warzone first launched was that the music for the end game sequence was way too loud. You couldn't hear any footsteps if they were around you, so it almost got you killed sometimes more than it helped. So music volume, unless you're jamming out, drop that down to 0 to 50 if you you want to. The effects volume, that's going to be things like your footsteps and everything that helps you out in that regard. Hit marker volume, you can drop that down if you'd like. If not, totally cool. Dialogue volume, I'd keep that up just because sometimes your operator will give callouts that can be beneficial. Subtitle. Preference-based, voice chat, again, preference-based, and then your advanced audio settings, Juggernaut music, that's something you can turn on or off. The hit marker sounds you can change as well. And one cool thing that they did add this year is the setting to reduce tinnitus sound, meaning that whenever you get stunned or flashed, it is something that replaces that audio with a less harsh hissing sound. So definitely nice that that's taken into consideration, but might not be something that is necessarily for you. Finally, the last thing we'll talk about is the interface. There's more stuff on PC than there is on console. One thing that I always like to have is the FPS counter up whenever I'm on PC. One really big thing to have is server latency. Those all coming in your telemetry settings. Other big things to take into consideration is the minimap shape. As always, I'd recommend square simply because it gives you about like 30% more area in what you see on that minimap as opposed to circular. Minimap
graphic settings for 105 for multiplayer. A lot of times for Warzone, people run at 120. So you can really run at whatever you want. Keeping in mind that as you zoom that out, targets become smaller. Aim assist will feel weaker, even though my preference, it'll zoom out. It's a little bit easier to control because you have that as default. Third person, I have it person ADS. So this is a new setting that they added between the beta and the launch of the spectator cam. They actually, brightness, I keep that kind of that little white line that you're seeing on the top left, that will make it where the edge of the minimap basically is. So that'll put it all the way in the corner of the screen, pretty much as far as it goes. So when you're focused on the middle of the screen and then you got to look up, you're looking all the way to the corner of your screen, versus when you bring this in a little bit tighter, it'll bring that a little bit visually closer so your eyes can still look at the minimap, get that information as you're going through. So pretty cool setting there. But there's another big one. Obviously you can go through all these are very similar to what you've seen in these, which is a bit darker if you like all of those different features. Customize your individual names, or you can go full name or and then we got the different tool tips and those types of things. I'm gonna go ahead and show flipped. What this does is it allows me to go ahead but it really depends. So you got tactical, which makes it so that you use both of those. And then obviously if you have a controller with paddles on the back, you will have that option as well, which obviously I have a scuff, so I do have paddles. I took off 2 of the paddles to go from 4 down to 2, just because it's a little bit more comfortable in preference. Program each individual. Said I do flipped. I use default for stick preset. Obviously, if you have a preference towards something else, stick sensitivity. I'm going to put out a and not want if you want to be a little bit fast. Crosshairs is very accurate as you're slower, so I can go ahead and adjust. Go ahead and change those. When you get caught sprinting a lot, attack sprinting, you're just mostly dead for the most part, especially. Or you just do regular ADS, but then you'll be clipping on walls everywhere. I almost never accidentally mount on anything. And then interact, tap to reload. We might change this to a form of contextual tap. Prioritize interact. One default, precision focusing, Black Ops. Default is generally the way, but you will not get it really any rotational aim assist with those. So beyond just using standard, it goes standard because that's what most people have by default. Dynamic, and then there are a few people that use linear. ADS sense multiplier with focus. This is when you hold your breath. I usually keep all that stuff default. You get custom sensitivity per zoom. You can go ahead and change that as well, but you can go ahead and keep it at 0.8 on everything if you want, or 0.8. You can go ahead and go, normally maybe use it one more above for the movement one, so that you're always having a little bit of movement so you can get the rotational aim assist. And or same thing, where how much stick drift does this make? 75. You could lower it even more, but then it'll get a little bit wonky how you feel like you're moving around. Right stick max, we just go ahead and put that on so that we have that full smooth control. And then the button dead zones, I have those as low as possible. Tactical sprint, toggle, and then auto move forward off. Double tap for tactical sprint, to use it this way. I have ground mantle off. I have it set to standard. You could swap them. Plunging into water, movement, regular, plunge off. In the future, this one, we got door bashing, this to your secondary off, which is the same button, free look, pinwheel, delay, moderate, and then double tap settings. Hope they help you out. Appreciate all the support.
Team deathmatch.
Tossing smoke grenade!
Our UAV is orbiting the area. UAV overhead. Friendly care package inbound. The enemy's taking the lead. Our more strike is inbound. Our counter UAV is active. Taking the lead. Enemies deployed a bomb drone.
Covering your 6! Planting sonar!
We've lost the lead.
Enemy fire! Visual on the enemy! Changing max!
The enemy's taking the lead. UAV ready to deploy. Lost off the field. Fight back. Friendly stealth bomber on the way.
From the rear!
Copy. UAV is on station. Recon online.
Reloading!
Enemy UAV active.
Portable radar deployed!
Hostiles launched a cruise missile. Be advised, UAV is exiting the AO.
That's incoming! I'm reloading!
Friendly UAV online. UAV standing by.
1-1 requesting recon at this time!
That UAV online
Changing max! Reloading!
Deploy.
Target area marked. You're cleared hot.
Trojan 6 cruise missile away. Good effect.
Tossing smoke grenade.
Our UAV is orbiting the area. Friendly UAV on station.
Target area marked. You're cleared hot.
Tiger 4 launching SAE. Inbound hot. Good effect on target.
I'm reloading.
Friendly counter UAV is online. Our UAV is orbiting the area.
I'm reloading. Changing max.
We've got him on the run. Keep it up. Friendly UAV online.
Recon flyover. I'm reloading. Tossing.
UAV on station. Friendly mortar strike inbound. Mission complete. Solid work.
at this time.
Copy. UAV is on station. Enemy UAV.
Changing mags.
Friendly UAV online.
Loading.
The enemy holds the advantage. Fight back. Our UAV is in the area.
Reloading. Shadow down.
Hostile SAE near your position. It's online. Friendly UAV on station. Enemy UAV active.
Reloading.
Friendly UAV online. Hostile UAV in the area. UAV ready for tasking.
Reloading. 1-1 requesting recon at this time.
Copy. UAV is on station. Recon online.
Good here.
Friendly UAV on station. Hostile cruise missile launched. Hostile cruise missile incoming. Hostile mortar strike incoming. UAV is bingo fuel. RTB at this time. Our perimeter's compromised. Full friendly UAV online. Our UAV is orbiting the area. Friendly UAV on station. Friendly UAV online. Our UAV is orbiting the area.
Switching mags. Changing mags.
We're advancing. Maintain pressure. Hostile SAE.
Reloading.
Friendly cruise missile approaching the target. We're getting hit hard. Friendly UAV on station. Friendly cruise missile deployed. The enemy holds the lead. Fight back. Cargo helo is en route to the AO. Enemy UAV overhead. Sable 1. Friendly UAV online. Enemy UAV active. deployed. Hostile sentry is active. Our UAV is orbiting the area.
Throwing drill charge!
Enemy deployed a counter UAV. Friendly UAV online. Our UAV is orbiting the area. Hostile mortar strike near your position. Hostile UAV in the area. Enemy UAV overhead. Hostile UAV in the area. Cargo helo is inbound. We're losing ground. Secure the perimeter.
Reloading.
Hostiles launched a cruise missile. Hostile cruise missile incoming. Enemy friendly mortar strike on the way. The enemy is close to securing victory. Heavy armor supplies are inbound. Friendly UAV on station.
Reloading!
Hostiles staying near your position. We're driving them back. Keep the pressure on. Hostiles launched a cruise missile. Hostiles launched an SAE. Our UAV is orbiting the area. A cargo helo is entered the airspace.
Reloading!
Hostile UAV in the area.
Changing mags! I'm reloading!
The enemy is close to victory. Stop them. Friendly UAV on station. Friendly VTOL on station.